What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Timmy Leof. I'm not French. I'm thinking that name is French. That I'm not. No. I'm sure there's some proper way of saying that I screwed up completely, but that's how us Americans say it. Alright, let's figure out what he's got in this castle here. I see one snotter being pulled around. There's got to be something else, I would assume. But it looks like I don't really see anything. Okay. Well, I'll pull the next thing. Alright. This is a pretty standard group. I do like the Scorpio, and it has the added benefit of pulling you into this group, which is also pretty good. And you have the level 28 Stairmaster, so that'll be pretty good for you. So far, so good. Although that first pull was kind of weird. Might have just been a fake, though. And you can see the 50% hit point buff really taking effect, even on these Stairmasters, which were generally easy to kill before. Auto attacks won't really kill them anymore. Like, I have to take out the Puppeteer if he has one healing him. Alright, this is a pretty standard headshot. Scorpios as well, just a huge hit point buff. Kind of back to what they used to be honest. Scorpios used to have a ton of health, and they got nerfed recently. Well, not recently, but a couple patches ago. As kind of a hot fix because they were too strong, supposedly. But then on top of the health nerf, they also got their stun kind of reduced, like the immunity on the hooks. After a certain point of being hooked, you know, you can't be hooked again or something. Like once, right when you get hooked, you can't be hooked again right away. It's like a couple second timer on that. Alright, so far so good. Castle seems pretty standard up until now. Pretty good trap placement. I have to kind of like go up to this point, engage this, and then pull back through the trap. Take a little bit more damage that way. What is this, another Stairmaster group? Alright, let's pull it. A little volley, I guess. And then if we can play this out correctly, we can kind of kite as this rotating cannon trap is turning, so I don't take any extra trap damage. It's about the best way of doing it. You can see I didn't really take much damage from that group. Let's see if we can get an eye on what's being pulled here. Another Stairmaster group. One of them isn't being defended though. I could just drop a volley here and pull everything. Feels like probably the best option for me. Honestly, you should be really working towards getting your castle up to level 32 as quickly as possible. When you get up to 28, 30, all of those, it makes it really easy on level 30 attackers, because people who are geared at dealing with level 32 castles, level 28, 30, you know, anything like that is kind of a cakewalk in terms of how difficult castles are. Alright, another Stairmaster combo. Good trap placement. Makes it very difficult not to take damage. Kind of scanning with the mouse just to see what's coming. I took a lot of trap damage there that I shouldn't have. That was a mistake. Okay. The only thing that I would be, I mean, I'm not even really concerned about it. It's just the Cyclops on that specific specialization are a little bit buggy now. Like, sometimes they work properly and sometimes they don't. It's not actually that big of a deal. I've switched Personally, I've switched out to the stun Cyclopses, even though those have been nerfed as well. honestly, Cyclopses in general aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, Jimbo. I have to be careful not to get hit by that because that could still one-shot me, even though it's... well, it is level 30, which is max, so... I've survived them a couple of times. I think I got hit by 1 or 2 last competition, which was kind of strange. I think like one castle hit me 2 or 3 times with the Jimbo, which was not normal. I haven't been hit by a Jimbo in like forever. They're so easy to dodge for archers. Especially when you're using bear traps. Try to take out the Stairmaster first before he gets a shot off. But I mean, there hasn't been really much to say in terms of improvement for your castle. Like, it's pretty good. I think the only thing that is helping me is, well, for one, I'm a pretty good attacker, and 2, it's still level 28, so it's a little bit under where I am. Now, one thing that I would note here is that, like, you have your Defendatrons. They're kind of out in the open. Yeah, your Defendatrons. Like, if you could do it so that your Stairmaster was out here, so that I couldn't engage the Defendatrons without, you know, aggroing the group first, it would make it so that I can't chunk them down with a headshot very easily. Like, that's one thing that you can go through and make sure that all of your groups, the Defendatron isn't really easily engaged beforehand. Like, you don't want to make it so that I can headshot a Defendatron if you can help it. Because that'll chunk them down to either, I could even crit and kill the Defendatron straight away, or I can chunk it down to about half health with a headshot. Whereas in other circumstances, if it's properly placed, you can have the Stairmaster out in front. I have to aggro that with an auto attack, and then I have to try to get into a good position while the ominous orbs are being thrown at me to get a headshot on the Defendatrons. I hope that made sense. Alright. Like here is another good example where I can, well, I would have been able to headshot that Defendatron if I didn't aggro the group. Which can just chunk it down to, like, I guess only a third health because it's been hit point buffed. But if I do crit, I can still one-shot it because my crit can do up to about 4,000 damage. Because I have a lot of plus crit damage gear. Alright, another Jimbo. This one, is this actually skippable completely? It looks like it might be. So this is one thing that you should probably look at, because I can skip that group completely. Alright, and then Count Nottingham. I'm gonna just use a potion just to be safe. Yeah, see, Count Nottingham has got a lot tankier as well. And he can do decent DPS, like you can see, he's hitting me for quite a bit. He's a pretty good boss. Alright, yeah, pretty good castle. I would just say go through your entire castle, make sure your Defendatrons are, like, defend their angles the best you can to make it so that I can't initiate on them. And then also that one group that was skippable, and I think your castle will do just fine. You do want to start to look to get towards level 32, though, as soon as possible. So we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up is Disturbios castle level is a 32. So this could be a little bit difficult. We'll see. Alright, let's see what this pulls. I'm not really going to go crazy. I want to see how everything works together, so... Alright, so I like the dampener because he kind of stands inside of the next aggro group. So if I wanted to like volley it or something, I would have to aggro the secondary group. Now you have AoE Defendatron, so that's something I'm gonna keep in mind of. You can kind of time out your volleys so that you can still use them against the AoE Defendatrons. But in general, they're mainly used to block volleys, so we'll have to see how you use that later on. Maybe with like Dr. Skulls or something like that. We'll have to see. That's where I've commonly seen them used to block the skeletons and stuff like that. Yeah, this already yeah, you can see the Doctor Skull's coming, so I can like drop a volley here and then it all gets absorbed, which is really good for you. Let's see if I can get in on this Doctor Skull. Nope. Really good so far. I like it. I'm gonna time out this, or try to time out that, so that I can, like, I can't find the Doctor Skull. There he is. And he's dead. Okay. So I just have to deal with this now. I like the battering ram. He's doing quite a bit of damage. I might actually die here. See if I can survive though. Alright, made it. So I don't have many potions. This is going to be a pretty difficult cast. So I'm going to see if I can make it through without dying, while still trying to give some advice. But so far I really do like that Dr. Skull pull. It gave me quite a bit of trouble, as you can see. Alright. Alright, battering ram. I'm not sure what else I saw. Alright, so non-defended Stairmasters is basically what we're going to see here, because you have AoE Defendatrons, which is kind of interesting, not something I've really seen much of. It like really kills their survivability, but we'll have to see if they can still do decent damage. I feel like one of this has to be skippable? Question mark? Let's see. Yeah, I think this group over here is skippable, so that's something you want to take a look at. Alright, another Webmaster up here, Cyclops or something as well. Actually, I don't know why it's sitting on the top of my screen, because there's nothing over here. Maybe it was just through this wall. No, I don't know, because I saw a Webmaster at the top, but there's not one in this group, so I really don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I went through the wall somewhere else, or there was a bug or something, I don't know. Maybe it was still showing the Webmaster from the previous room. Alright. Trying not to take trap damage. So far I'm doing okay since that first room. Alright, there's another group here. I can pull this. I'm not sure if there's any way that you can stop me from pulling this, but that should be a pretty easy pull for me. Seems like the Cyclops is a little bit forward from where he could be. I don't know, it's something you can take a look at just to see if you can make it so I can't pull it with a volley, but it's pretty difficult to make it so that, you know, it can't be pulled at all. Mages will almost always be able to pull a group over a trap. Archers are pretty good at it as well. Knights are really the ones that struggle with it. Alright, and then another group over in this corner. I can still get a headshot in, as long as I initiate with it. And I'll try to time out a volley. But yeah, this is difficult. I like this Defendatron because I'm not used to seeing it. And yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm not used to seeing that Defendatron, so oh my god, that actually still hits. So I try to kill off the Cyclops instead of normally what I would do is kill off the Defendatron, because I think that I can get in between, you know, his AoE pulses, and I just can't. Like, it's just not working. It's kind of interesting. Alright, let's see, what can I do? Can I live through this next group? I don't think so, to be honest. Unless maybe this Cyclops will get one shot and drop a health globe. He didn't, so I'm gonna use a potion. I'm probably gonna die in this castle based on just sustained damage, which is really good for you. Like, this castle's pretty good. I think maybe, like, I could probably get through it if I wasn't talking, I was just straight up concentrating. but it's a pretty good castle. I'm still gonna try to make it through without dying. Although I don't think I'll be able. I'll probably get timed out because I've stopped and talked a couple of times. But all right, 4 Stairmasters. Pretty difficult not to take damage from this. It's just kind of like cutting your losses, trying to take the least amount of damage as possible. All right, so far so good. Let's see, what is this gonna pull? I think this is gonna be a Stairmaster flank from like every side. Yeah. This is, I've seen this once before. I'm not sure what castle I saw it in, but it works pretty well. Having Stairmasters just come from all sides. Like, Stairmasters are pretty weak if you have 4 of them in a group. Like, it's not the best group ever. You really do need some support for them. But when they're flanking you from every different direction, and they'll all attack at different times, so they'll put 4 orbs on the ground in different areas. Like, you can do so much damage to somebody with that specific group because they just come from everywhere. It's kind of crazy. Alright, I should be approaching a boss room like reasonably soon. Well, maybe not. I probably have like 2 more rooms, to be honest. Alright, I'm doing pretty well. Like, if I can keep this up, I should be able to make it through. So I can, as long as I can stay healed up through these groups. Alright, this is going to be another group here. Again, the same thing, if you can make it so that I can't pull this over this trap. It's going to be difficult though. It's almost impossible for most of these rooms. If someone just plays like super heads up and just tries to pull everything over traps and stuff like that, like I do, it's difficult. Alright, took a little bit of damage from that group, which isn't good. Alright, another 4 battering rams. This could be a mistake for trying to deal with them this way. Like, normally this would be fine, and I guess it's going to be. But I was scared because of the hit point buff. Like, normally if you volley them all and then do like 1 auto attack, it kills them all like it did there. I threw a headshot as well, I'm not sure if it helped, but battering rams by themselves I don't think is nearly as good as having them with other units that are good at space control. Like, I think having 1 of each, like 1 battering ram, 1 hunger bot, 1 smelly warrior, 1, I don't know, stairmaster, I think is really good at space control. Whereas if you have 4 of each, 4 of 1 of them, I think it's a lot less effective. Because they all space control in kind of a different way, and you have to react to all of that on the fly along with like trying to dodge traps, and it's very difficult to take no damage whatsoever. I'm actually also not used to seeing DPS Cyclopses. Normally I don't like them. At level 32, they do decent damage. They do about 600 if they get an attack off. And I've kind of been ignoring them, but they've actually done quite a bit of DPS to me overall. Alright, boss room. I can still make it through this. I won't make it on time, but that's okay. Alright, mittens. I can kind of ignore mittens, but not really. And then there's a hunger bot. I'm gonna throw a volley, I think. That's gonna take a ton of trap damage too. That's really bad. Alright, oh my god. Mittens actually does some DPS, like, okay, and there's the Zeke. I wasn't sure what I was increasing the attack speed of with the mittens. I saw a bunch of other random units. I wasn't really sure. Really good castle though, I liked it. It's definitely different with the AoE Defendatrons instead of Bodyguard. You always see Bodyguard, so it's kind of refreshing to see something else. Alright, so that was number 2, correct? Yeah, we'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have Reyaxe, castle levels of 23.
You're going to be far poorer in 3 minutes.
Chickens! Alright, is this gonna be a Dr. Skull pull? Yes it is. Luckily, actually I think there was a Defendatron, I'm just really over leveled. I think I did see a bodyguard in there. This is a good pull though, I like it. I think that people could have a lot of trouble with this. Yeah, there's the Defendatron. Okay. You want to see if you can block off the angle of that Defendatron up there to make it so I can't, what do you call it, headshot him. You can see how low damage these Smelly Warriors really do at your level, and even really at every level. I've hated on Smelly Warriors so much, and I've started to use them a little bit in my castle, now after the 50% hit point buff, but I don't know that they're worth it on anything other than their two-handed specialization. Just because every other specialization, they do like less damage than a Snotter, like it's disgustingly low. Like he's doing about 40 damage a hit to me, and it's not likely that he's gonna hit more than once or twice. Again, if you had like a mine right here, I wouldn't be able to get that shot off, which would be what you kind of want. So try to block off those angles the best you can. Using mines, traps, you know, the actual defended unit, all of that sort of thing. Alright. Let me take a look at this. I feel like maybe your traps are a little bit off in this room. Because you notice how, like, if you had a group right here, right? So if I want to engage this group, I'm going to be standing right around in this area if I'm an archer. Maybe you have a knight, so it's a little bit different or something, but as an archer, you know, I'm going to attack from here and pull into this area, in this general area, right here. So if you had, like, your trap here, that would be good. And then here, again, you had a group up in this area, I'm going to pull it from here and kind of fight back in this general area. So I'm kind of wondering if you could fix your traps up a little bit, or either maybe change your monster placement or something like that to help benefit them a little bit more. But I feel like they're just a little bit out of place. Alright, this is going to be another Dr. Skull pull. So that's what I kind of mean by using the things repetitively, as Dr. Skull specifically. You can kind of get better at dealing with them over time. Like, if you see it coming before it actually hits you, and you ignore the units or pull them back farther, if it's like a double pull them back farther than you'll engage the Dr. Skull in. They're not terribly difficult to fight. Alright. A little volley in here. Looks like your Hungerbot got a little bit hung up on the wall, and that disjointed him from the Jimbo. I'm not sure if there's anything you'll be able to do about that. You might just have to like move the Hungerbot a little bit out from the wall or something. That's really the only thing that I can think of. Or it just might be like one time in a million that it happens, who knows. Alright. This group is pretty good. I don't know if I can actually get an angle. The only way I can get an angle on this Defendatron is if I kind of go through the trap area there, and I don't think anyone's really going to do that. Like, it's pretty risky, so I only did it because I wanted to see if I could skip it on the top side there. Alright, and then we have a boss room. So yeah, pretty good castle overall. I think just look at a couple of your angles on your Defendatrons, see if you can make it so that I can't initiate with a headshot on them. And that'll be pretty good. And maybe some trap movement a little bit around. If you can, I don't know. I know traps are kind of tricky. If anything, switching it out maybe from a ballista in some of those spots to like rotating fire traps or something might be a little bit better, because the only way ballista traps really work is if you're fighting inside of the area. You know, if you have to fight inside of a blister trap area, it's easy to take damage because as you're kiting or stutter stepping backwards, you know, you'll take a hit or two. So, just something to think about. So that's number 3. So we'll end the video here. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of Reyaxe, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. You can check the spreadsheet in the description of the video to see where your name is on the list after you've submitted. It'll take me a couple days to update it as well, so you know, don't keep resubmitting your name over and over again. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.